And this week we're going to focus in hard on one of the hardest topics really to cover. So many businesses, and indeed so many potential businesses, don't get going or don't even get started because of the fear of failure. Right? Now it's huge, and understandably there is so much made of success, and people are glorified and held up as shining beacons of achievement. Based on size of business, based on number of people they employ, based on products that they ship and so on, that all of that size and that scale can be quite daunting when you are first considering setting out on your entrepreneur journey. And if you are already on that journey and you're thinking of changing into doing something slightly different. What we see is people who would rather stick at something that they know is quite steady than necessarily take a risk or a gamble on going for something new. So in this time when things have changed so significantly over the last year or so, during the pandemic, I think it's really important that we kind of address this very specific way of doing this. And Christian's just put in the chat, what if they never try? People regret the things they didn't far more than the things that they did. And that is such a good point, Christian, and thank you. It's absolutely that. This is the way that you understand more about both yourself and about business as well. So what I want to do here is to give you some tips, some tricks, some backstory, some elements that is going to help you to get away from this fear of failure and enable you and provide you with some foundations, some underpinnings that's going to help you to build that business that you've dreamt of, to work through any challenges you might have right now and in the future, and to give you a really kind of strong sense of what your mission is and how you can get through any roadblocks that come along. All right, so let's start then with where we always start, which is the formula itself. So these are 15 interlocking elements of business growth in 3 distinct disciplines: product, marketing, and sales. And now this one, the fear of failure, is one that covers obviously a number of different elements across the formula. So what I want to do is, within this 15 minutes, just pick out 3 of them. Because these, for me, are the 3 most important ones that are going to help you to build that strong underpinning and build that confidence that means that whatever you set out to do, you have the best chance of achieving it. So we're going to look very specifically at product concept, at marketing content, and at sales goals. So if we start with product concept, now this is the answer to a very specific question, right? Every business, as it goes into its startup process, or as it's looking at how it might relaunch or pivot, it's going to need to know why it is here. All right. So very specifically, the question to answer is, why am I solving this problem? All right. Why am I solving this problem? So it kind of comes in 2 distinct parts. The first is the why. Now, you may have observed a problem because you've experienced it yourself. You may have people that you know very well who've experienced it. It may be that it's something that has always bugged you and you think that you finally found the answer to it. All right. Whatever it is, there needs to be that driving need to solve this problem. All right. You need to be able to, when times are tough, when things are looking a little bit less rosy than you thought they might do at whatever point in the future, you've got to know really that what you're doing and why you're doing it is important. All right. And it's got to really resonate with you, and it's got to mean something to you. Now, where this then fits into the failure aspect and the ability for this to almost insulate you against that failure is because what it does is it calls others to you. All right. It's almost like that kind of rallying cry, where if you set out really, really clearly what it is and why you're doing something, then what you'll find is that there will be others who wish to join you on that route. And there is nothing quite like having a team, a squad around you that are similar to you, engaged in the pursuit of something important. Whatever you consider yourself to be here on this planet for, whatever you consider others, whatever you consider the products and services that you want to bring out, if they reflect your personal beliefs and your personal ambitions and your personal why, then you will find that you can get through pretty much anything in its pursuit. All right. So the first building block in your kind of wall against failure is to make sure you are doing something that you really, really care about. All right. That is absolutely essential if you are to overcome any difficulties in the future. Now, the other part of this particular area, product concept, is the problem itself. Why am I solving this problem? So why am I solving this problem? All right. And the problem itself has got to be something that's of reasonable significance, that it captures and holds your attention and ensures that you will continue to push it through and to make sure that you are going to carry on regardless of what may come at you. And again, as Christian says in the chat, failure is a step on towards success. This is not the end of the story by any means, and it is never going to be the kind of full stop, or it should never be the full stop, provided that what you're doing is something that really, really, really engages you and engages those around you. So this problem that you're solving, it needs to be significant enough that there are enough people that are going to want the solution to it. Okay, if it is just you and a few of your mates, perhaps a couple of family members, it's probably not going to be a business, and that is going to challenge you when it comes to success versus failure. All right, so you have to make sure that the problem you're solving has breadth and has enough of a challenge for others that you're going to be able to make a profitable business out of it. All right, so very specifically answer the question, why am I solving this problem? Make sure it's something that resonates with you personally, and make sure it has enough of an audience and people that it resonates with, that it's going to make that failure far, far less likely. And when troubled times come, you are in a position to be strong and to push through, because it's that important to you. All right, so the second area I wanted to focus on is sales goals. All right, now when we think about failure, if we don't know what we're aiming at, then failure can very easily come at us from all kinds of directions. All right, there is so many ways that you can feel that your business is not doing as well as it should do, that you personally are failing at what your challenges are, and all of this will get in the way of you being able to deploy your efforts, which are necessarily limited, right? Your resources are limited. You have to make sure that they are aligned towards your purpose, towards your why, and then you've got to set yourself some goals. All right, now these sales goals are what is going to keep you honest. They're going to keep you very focused on what success looks like. All right, so what I want you to do is to think about 3 years ahead. All right, 3 years ahead. What does 3 years ahead look like? This will be, if you listen to this in February 2021, February 2024. Okay, what is it that you are going to be doing? What staffing levels are you going to have? What revenues are you going to have been building? What costs are in place, and what profit do you want to be making? Now, the reason for being really quite focused on this, and look, it's clear, creating a 3-year plan it can be quite challenging. If you need any help, we've got the Growth Execution Group. Do come along, join up with that. There's people in there, and myself will be more than happy to help you. That's on Facebook. But what this does, this 36-month plan, is it gives you it forces you to ask questions, and it forces you to really think hard about what that journey looks like and what that success looks like. Because all the way along, you will face challenges. All right. It may be that another competitor comes in mirroring your wonderful product and successful execution on your growth plan. It may be that a pandemic hits and suddenly everything that you thought was absolutely nailed on true has dramatically changed. All right. This is about setting a plan with best intentions from right now, where you have clear assumptions that things are going to be a certain way. And then if things change, you can then look at your plan and understand what might need to switch in or out. What I have found with every client that I've done this with is that when those tough times do hit, however, they end up working out ways to still hit the revenue and the profit numbers. Okay, and that is the mark of a resilient business, and one that is going to be able to deal with challenges that might make other businesses fail. Okay, so again, just to be really clear, failure itself is not a problem. What we're looking to do here is to protect as much as possible what you are setting out to do, and to make it as to make it underpinned as much as possible by some really strong attributes that are going to give you the best chance of success going forwards. All right. So with this 36-month plan, you will build essentially it will be a kind of escalator where by month 36 you will be making a lot more money than you are in month 3, but it gives you that real vision of what the future looks like. And from sports people through to other ambitious business people, all of them have visualization as a technique for achievement. Okay, and when you know where you're going, then you are much more able to pick up other things that you meet along the way that are going to help you get there much more quickly as well. So getting a 36-month plan together is not a straitjacket. It doesn't mean that you are absolutely bound to this particular plan come hell or high water. What it does mean is that you have a significant goal to achieve, to aim at. You understand what success looks like, and you are therefore prepared to deal with some of the vicissitudes of fate that may befall you along the way. All right. So again, the answer to the question, what if I fail, is about preparation. All right. What we're doing is giving you some real strong kind of underpinnings to make sure that you're able to get to where you need to. All right, so you've done product concept, so you know why you're doing this thing and what the problem is, and the problem is big enough. You've got yourself a 36-month plan, so you understand where you're aiming at. All right, now the final piece is how can you try and make sure you get the most number of leads in. All right, if there is one thing that challenges business, perhaps more than many others, if not most, it is finding business. Okay, it is finding the right leads and enabling your business to grow. So what this does is it gives you a real, by creating a scorecard. And if you want to see a scorecard in action, do go to the website growtion.co, growtion.co/scorecard. And there is a great example there of what a scorecard is. What it does is it allows you to get really qualified leads into your business. Right, it allows you to get highly relevant and highly detailed, granular information about prospects that have come your way. So what you want to do with a scorecard is you want to set it out as something that asks questions of potential customers of yours that is going to be really interested in them and gives a score back to them. A great example of this from the past that I've been involved with was when we were at Zoopla, we created this automated valuation model, which gave you a rough guide to what your property might be worth. Now, all you had to do was claim a property and give us your email address, and that was pretty much it. So once you'd done that, we would every month send you something that said, this is roughly how much your property is worth now. So we kind of used house price indices and so on to calculate up or down roughly what your property was worth. We'd also tell you some nice nosy neighbour gossip about how much Mrs. Smith over the road had sold her property for. And the open rates on those were, as you can imagine, off the scale. But what you're looking to do is to create something similar, something that gets people really interested in what you're doing, what you're providing, so the problem that you are solving, and gives them something really interesting, probably local, if not personal to them, that's going to get them opening it and get them interested in what you're doing. Once they've opened it, make it interactive. Get them to fill in some details, obviously capture the email address, the most important thing, get the name as well if you can. But if you can create it so that it gives them a score back. There was this time, and go back to some of the Facebook quizzes that you may have done way back in the dim and distant past. People like to understand things. People like to know who's their film character is, or which one of the Beatles they are, I don't know. Whatever it is, try and think of something that's quite gamified, that's quite fun, that's going to encourage people to give you data. And what this does is it not only forces you to ask the right questions. Okay, so you'll send out the scorecard, people won't fill it in, you'll then hone it until actually you're starting to get people to fill in those scorecards, starting to give you leads. And again, that protects when we go back to our overarching reason for being here today, it protects against what is termed failure. Okay, so how do you make sure you don't fail in this particular venture? Is you do your research. You make sure you're speaking to the right people, you make sure you're gathering their data in the right way, and you make sure that you are providing something of value back to them free, instantaneously, and then you also have captured their details too. All right, so those three things should give you that underpinning of confidence that your new venture or your retooled venture, repurposed venture has the best chance of success. Now, as Christian has said on this chat, and it's really, really important, don't think that failure is the be all and end all. All right, it is a tremendous learning experience, and it should never be something, and it should never be a reason why you don't start. Okay, always, and again, hopefully this will give you the confidence to be able to get going on it. Walk out with confidence, walk out with a real conviction that this is going to be something that you can and you are going to be able to achieve. All right, so with those three things, armed with product concept, the answer to the question, why am I solving this problem, with some sales goals over 36 months, and with a really high quality scorecard that's going to give you some leads, with those three things in play, you should be able to get your business up and running, or get your business pivoted or repurposed into something that is fit for the market right now, and it should give you that real energy to go after the market as it stands and make a success. All right. So as we always want to do with every single one of these webinars, we want to give you a recommendation at the end, something that you can do right now to help yourself get ready for this particular challenge. So what you should do is get this book, listen to it on Audible. I always use audiobooks rather than necessarily read them right now, just because I don't have the time to immerse myself fully in them. But yeah, Start With Why by Simon Sinek is the classic book about how to find your purpose and how to make sure you're doing the thing that you are here to do. And with that, you are incredibly well protected for when tough times come, when failure looks like it's on the cards. You can get yourself into a position where you're able to deal with those things because your why is so strong. All right, look, I hope that has been helpful and useful to you. This has been the Growth Execution webinar 2106. If you've got any questions or anything you want to ask or anything you want to follow up on that, please do join us in the Growth Execution group on Facebook. We'd be delighted to welcome you along. We will be back next week with another question that we're always asked by our SME community, by clients, around how to build business. But look, thanks so much for your time today. Really, really appreciate your company. If you need us, we are on the Growth Execution group. We're on growtion.co. But for now, look, if you're ready, let's get growing.